So this is VE7800 electron microscope. I've had it apart to get it back up and running again. It was sitting unused for a while, and it turned out that the turbo driver had died. So I'm about to put it back together, and I wanted to take a video just to kind of document things while I have the case off. Why not? Okay, so so we've got the first of all, there's a sample chamber at the front. Not a lot to see here. It's got a filament light bulb on the right hand side, and there are two blanked off ports. There's also this thing, which is an optical viewport. I think later models you get like a camera, CMOS camera that attaches to this. I guess through the light leakage it knows if it's open or not. And the software will say in Japanese, viewport open, if that's open. On mine, the connector to the filament light bulb is broken off at some point. I don't know when exactly. Yeah, so I guess the filament light bulb just lights up the chamber so you can look through the port or whatever. A bit odd, but there's a big gap underneath. I think you get, if you've got the ADAX unit, that you can stick the power supply in there. Maybe I've seen other systems with stuff in there. So that's that. You can kind of rotate the stage and also alter the working distance manually here, and rotate the stage with the knobs on the front. That all just slides in. There's no, someone's asking, is there a sample exchange kind of thing? And no, there's no sample exchange thing. At the top we've got the filament, sits in there. They used to sell a maintenance kit with replacement filaments that this just kind of opens, closes, and gets held in place under vacuum. Where did I put the filament? The filament somewhere. An old one. I was gonna. Where did I put it? Where's it gone? Oh, there. Yeah, so that's the filaments, 9mm spacing between the pins. This is an old one. Yeah, so I'll post some more pictures of that later, maybe, if that's of use. Heading around to the back, we've got kind of power PCB with a bunch of relays. This is the roughing pump that plugs directly into the main unit. There must be a relay, one of these relays, or I think it's one of the ones inside. There's these kind of things inside that boards, which seems to be controlling with mains power kind of relays, I guess. I'm not sure exactly. But you've got some fusing on the power board at the bottom here. Like I say, the roughing pump is under control of the main system. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, maybe. And then you've got kind of I guess I'd call it the digital board. They call it the scan board, I guess. A bunch of FPGAs. This is kind of an analog section. I think these are DACs. I think there's one ADC. I think it's this one. This is a Sony kind of video ADC or something. But it's not. Pretty much every chip I've seen on this board is that analog. chip, but yeah, this is kind of the analog section, and this is the digital side of it. There's a USB interface that comes into this board. Again, I'm not sure what the distinction here is. I guess this is for instrument control, and must kind of feed back into this other board. There's firewire as well, which I assume all the kind of image data or acquisition data comes through. And then on the other side, there's this board which has got an FPGA on it, but a stack of DACs. This is where the PMT connects. This is a PMT power module. The turbo connects here, and I have some notes on that, which show the connection. The turbo, the analog output of the turbo, the motor speed is not connected. It only reads set point and error conditions. So I kind of tried to find out what some of these other things are that are going into the chamber, but they don't appear to be pressure gauges. So I don't know what they are. But the only way it seems to know that the system has come up is by checking to see if the turbo has reached its set point. So speaking of which, inside you'll see the turbo. The thing that kind of led me to the fact that the turbo was not working is this power light was not illuminated. As far as I can tell, power light should always be illuminated under any condition, even if it's not kind of plugged in. Yeah, it was not coming up, so I ended up buying a new controller off eBay. There's a fan on the side of this which plugs into the turbo controller. The turbo itself obviously is sitting there, which kind of then feeds directly into via this kind of fixture into the main chamber. This is the PMT. Got some high voltage noise filter there, and then there's this thing here. This is the big high voltage power supply, which feeds up to the filaments. What else? Anything else to see? I don't really think so. Let's have a look inside. Just in case anything this is used for. Yeah. So that's the system. When it comes on, it immediately turns on the roughing pump, and pretty much straight away it sends a signal to the turbo to also come up. As the roughing pump is just, it's just a regular AC connection. It doesn't seem to check that there's any kind of load on that. So if the roughing pump is not plugged in and someone just presses the button or just plugs it in, because I think as soon as you plug in the system it will try and come up, the turbo will just come up in atmosphere. So you sometimes see these sold on auctions without anything, without the roughing pump, and just the main unit, and so we plugged it in and turned it on, and it started beeping. Well, the beeping means that the turbo showed an error condition, and it will mean that the turbo was powered up at atmosphere. I don't know, what the probability of that killing the turbo is. Certainly, you're not supposed to power up turbos at atmosphere, as I understand it, but it is what it is. The other thing I just kind of remembered is there's a vent here, a valve coming off the turbo. I think there's another one down here. So there's a valve that the roughing pump heads into, and I think this has a vent vent atmosphere, whatever you call it, on it as well. There's this long cable goes to the top of the unit, which is just for the LEDs. There's a device computer with a FireWire card in it and USB, which connects to the main unit. There's this thing, which I don't think you really need. I don't often use it, but it helps you control the software. It just plugs into the PC. Yep, that's it. Any questions, give me a shout on the blog. I've posted a bunch of other stuff on the blog, 41j.com. Yeah, that's it. Thanks.